Hello and welcome to the Happy Fun Time Show with Lucas. Hopefully less cranky this time because Nolan and Connor aren't here to make me upset. I'm checking out this game Suzerain. I've actually done one run through of it before and I did okay. I passed some good reforms, but I did tank the economy. So this is basically a decisions game, sort of a mix between the Democracy series of games and This is the Police. Would be the best way that I could describe it. You make some decisions. This first video will just be sort of setting up the game. You have to go through and make some decisions. Last time I played very pro-workers, sort of socialist, or in this case it's called Malenskiist. This time I'm going to try and do a little more authoritarian, see what I can kind of get away with, install myself as a bit of a dictator. So we're going to go into this with with that in mind, and we'll see what we can get done here. So basically the first little bit, you kind of talk about your backstory, and you lead up. The country is called Sordland. It's kind of based on the Turkish history, which this is a quote from a Turkish poet. And so let's get right into it once it loads. You open your eyes to this world. Well, we're gonna be from a wealthy family. We're gonna be in a position of power. Anton is the child of a successful businessman. You had the chance to grow up in a wealthy family. Life was easy at first, and you had the best education money could afford. However, things inside the Rayne family changed due to the absence of your father. This affected your mother and you negatively. Uh-oh. Years passed. During a history class at school, the bell started to ring unexpectedly. You heard a loud commotion outside. As everyone tried to figure out what was going on, the principal announced a historic revolution. The kingdom was no more, and the Republic of Sordland was born. Anton doesn't much care. After graduating, you passed the university exam with high marks. You had the opportunity to choose between several studies. You chose... lawyers are pretty evil. We'll go with that. During the first year, you attended a lecture with David Weisky. He was a well-known diplomat from the Foreign Ministry and the son of the president. After observing the hall in silence, he explained that the Supreme Court is obstructing justice in Sordland. He said the laws should be applied fairly and that even the members of the Supreme Court are subject to the same laws. No. We want to have big systems of power. Soldiers entered the campus in the evening ahead of the first election. Men were in shock as the uniformed men created a security cordon and started arresting the teachers. A group of students are gathering in protest. Along with your best friend Peter Vector, and you decided to... we'll protest as well. One of the officers made a loud announcement that echoed through the campus. General Lutheran declared martial law in order to restore the administration. Please stand back and disperse to your rooms. You joined the students that slowly marched towards a large group of soldiers. Suddenly they charged. A student fell and was trampled as everyone started running away. Anton doesn't back down from a fight. The soldiers beat you relentlessly. Cool. Bad year. Arrested teachers were replaced by those promoted conformism by the state. Holster turned a blind eye to the things that were happening. You didn't want to stay idle and decided to join. You know, student councils are pretty much the most evil thing, so we're going to go for that as well. We're going to be a very bad man. The council was focused on increasing the student involvement in the campus along with partaking in the budget. Through active participation, you gained budget management and leadership skills. In one of the meetings, Peter introduced you to one of his friends, Monica, who was a volunteer at the Swordfish League of Women. Immediately attracted to... her. Yeah, we're a bad man. We're a bad guy. We don't care. Definitely the young swords. We're going full-on nationalist. The radio relayed the communist General Ricard surrounded Lutheran and his troops, demanding their surrender. They refused, and heavy fighting broke out across the city. You just couldn't believe it. The army was fighting amongst themselves, and Sordland plunged directly into chaos. Ricard's sudden attack caused even more bloodshed in the country. He seemed different compared to fascist Lutheran. In your opinion, however, he was more of the same. So you're participating in a protest march. You were chanting... one nation, one system, one people. Absolutely. We're going to try and be as dictatorial as we can be. Which obviously is going to rely on some heavy nationalism. Many socialists were among them. Sorry, you're marching against Ricard. The students and soldiers supporting the coup gathered a few hundred meters away. Many socialists were among them. You knew something was going to happen. Oh, we're definitely staying. There was a massive clash between two sides. Soldiers began to beat the students. Tanks started rolling forward. In this chaotic moment, you saw a young girl about to get run over by a tank. You... we'll just warn her. But watch out. Yeah. Clearly. The clashes escalated into a full-blown civil war. The horrors made you isolate yourself for a while. Monica helped you cope and love grew between the two of you. However, it was a difficult time for love. Get that. The charismatic Colonel Tarkin Sol orchestrated a sudden coup and brought an end to the chaos. He wrote a new constitution and restored stability. The people saw him as a savior. He formed the United Sordland Party and ran as a presidential candidate in the first ever elections. Sure, we'll vote for him. So Tarkin Sol was kind of the old, sort of dictatorial fascist. He's got this system of government called Solism, which is basically, relying on one sort of stout dude as the leader. So it's kind of interesting. USP won the election by a large majority. After graduation, he kept seeing Monica and noticed her interest to marry. However, a letter arrived from the military calling you to fulfill your compulsory service. It was time to serve your national duty. A devastating civil war broke out between the neighboring country, and the distinguished Major Joseph Lancia ordered you to lead your squad on a border patrol mission. So this guy actually becomes your minister of the army. So you want to do what he says here. It's a very cold winter night. We began marching out of government outpost. Could see your breath. After several hours of marching through the snowy hills, distant noises were heard. Visibility was low to confirm the source. The squad called forward in formation and found a spot to observe. A group of refugees had made it through the border fence. So last time I let them slip through, and it caused a bunch of issues. The military tried to assassinate me. I'm sure not directly because of this one choice. I also defunded the shit out of them, which I will be doing differently this time. But yeah, so we'll escort them back. Refugees were in despair when they realized you were taking them back to the border. Screams of protest ensued and they restrained. You delivered them to the border guards. After several months of military service, your duties ended and you went back to civilian life. Yeah, so last time when I did this, it was, you get basically imprisoned. So that is not too much fun. You and Monica decided to share your lives together. After receiving the blessing of her parents, a ceremony was held in Holstor. During the same year, you were offered a high-paying job at the governing United Sordland. It was important to start your career on a good foot, so you accepted it. The financial compensation was too great to pass up. Oh yeah, definitely working for the ruling party was the easiest path to power. We're going friggin' megalomaniacal. Megalomaniacal? I'll have to ask Bradley. You became the legal assistant to one of the more experienced members of Assembly. You worked long and hard, staying late at work and going through hundreds of pages of legal documents. We were climbing that ladder, baby. Sol strengthened the Republic Guard, moving the institutions and symbols of the former kingdom from society. Things were also looking up for the country as the massive economic boom continued, and people were the happiest they'd been in a decade. Election time came and it was decided. President Tarkin Sol was elected once more. The ongoing legal battle between the Justice Ministry and the Supreme Court put you under a lot of stress, but your significant contribution to the legal case triggered an invitation to meet Tarkin Sol himself, who offered you a key position. You become the youngest member of Assembly. Absolutely. We're going in. As youngest MP, it was difficult to connect with the influential inner circle. You needed allies, so you brought in Peter as your right-hand man. The birth of your son, Frank, provided you a brief moment of joy and relief. Last time I sacrificed family, it actually turned out well, so we're going to try it the other way around. During your absence, Peter found trustworthy contracting strength your position in the party. At the same time, President Sol increased his authority over the years. His growing ego started to cause strife within the party. The cracks began to show. President Sol barely secured the majority in the election against the opposition leader. Over the past year, people were growing discontent with corruption and the worsening quality of life. Meanwhile, calls for United Sordland Party Congress became louder as the leadership struggle started to brew. We're going to watch from the sidelines. We're not going to make any big enemies. The Conservative Party leadership was Yuval Alfonso, a reformist, talented business magnate with growing popularity within the party. Meanwhile, in a desperate effort to secure votes for the Congress, President Sol was meeting party members one by one. Okay, so last time he didn't approach me. So I guess because I kind of wanted to help out Yuval Alfonso. The Minister of Justice and Law in the next government if you backed him in the upcoming vote. So I think Ewald wins no matter what. But also, let's make an ally of Tarkin here. Yeah. Yeah, so last time was a larger margin that he won. Unfortunately, Sol lost the leadership vote to Ewald Alfonso with a small margin. During the Congress, Sol announced his retirement from politics. The systems he'd established were to stay much longer as achievements with the government. You were... I'd say we were troubled. He was a strong sort of leader, centerpiece. The inner party... A month later, your daughter was born. Monica named her Deanna. She had motivated you during a tumultuous period in the party. The general elections were approaching. The United Sordland Party was under the new leadership of Ewald Alfonso. You joined the party effort and campaigned for him, or did your best not to help him? We'll campaign for him. Why not? Help out the party. During the general elections, the main opposition leader was embroiled in a sex scandal with his secretary, diminishing their chances. The extensive privatization program provided by Ewald Alfonso secured an election victory over the United Sordland Party. Over the next years, you... definitely tried all that was necessary to climb up the ladder. President Vila Alfonso saw many bold reforms, was followed by a serious economic recession. The other parties announced their bids for the 1953 election, but the unfair system hampered all opposition efforts to win. You definitely worried about ourselves. Very, very egotistical, we'll be like. Together with Peter, your presence in the USP grew and you became the face of a new wing in the party. You effectively took over the leadership as President Alfonso lost control of the country. The moment to make a move had come. You blamed Alfonso for the crisis on television. Fuck yeah. The media backlash prompted President Alfonso to reshuffle his cabinet, but most of his inner circle abandoned him. The party eventually voted you in because of your charisma as leader. Okay, so this is already different, way different than what I had last time. So this will be exciting. Following this, you announced that you would be running for president in the general election with Peter as your running mate. It was our turn. After visiting every city and town in the election, you made a speech on state promises. You promised to preserve national values. Absolutely. So last time I said reforms, but no. Great nation of Sordland, due to the incompetent leadership, enemies both internal and external are influencing our glorious nation. Today, more than ever, we need to unite under one flag and protect our values. Grazie, Sordland! Okay, so the die is freaking cast. On the election day, millions went out to cast their votes. It was time to face the truth. How did we do? How did we do? That's a pretty good indicator. That is a pretty good indicator. Alright. We'll choose what he looks like, and then we'll go. We'll save the rest of the governing. Oh, can we give him a bit? This is what I wore last time. Maybe a nice default suit. Oh my god. That's amazing. Because he had glasses last time, but I think a nice pipe. And will be golden in the background. I'm just trying to think if I want facial hair. That's pretty good, but I think no facial hair is a good. Just completely bald. An absolute egg of a man. Yeah, let's do it. Alright, we definitely want a planned economy. We're going to focus. So essentially we choose between these election promises and we kind of have to keep to them if we want a second term. I didn't get one last time because I tanked the economy by trying to help out too many people. I'm going to try and do it. Planned economy, definitely, because we want to be in charge of the political system, or the economic system. Diplomacy, basically it's the United States and Russia, where Acacia is the US and Russia is United Cantana, or the USSR. I think we don't want to align to anyone, and we want to definitely tighten immigration, because we are going to be a bunch of evil bastards. So, yeah, we'll do that. We've also promised to focus on, yeah, so the focus too, you can choose, health, education, law enforcement, or military. In this case, I did education last time, but military, I think, is what we will do. We want to have a nice, then again, law enforcement could be huge if we just had like a police state. We're definitely going to cut these two, because who cares about that shit? Yeah, we're going to say military. We want to ramp up our country. Oh, there he is. Oh my goodness. The die was cast. All right, we will see what this brings.